बहुत अच्छा है। ये जो पीपीटी मैंने
Hi, good morning, all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. We are already 3 minutes past our start time. So while others are joining, let's have a quick discussion about what we learned last week. So I think we can start with who we can start with Prajana. Hi, Prajana, how are you?
Hi, Pankaj. I'm good.
Yeah. Did you attend both the sessions last week?
Yeah, I attended, but last session in the middle of the session, I was little unattentive because I
Okay,
was parallelly attending another call also.
sure, sure. Anyways, you are having PPDS background, so that should be fine with you.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Harshal, how are you? Harshal is gone. Okay.
No.
Navnath.
Yes, Jay.
Yeah, he's Pankaj Navnath.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so you were attentive in both the classes last week?
Yes.
Very
I
nice.
yeah.
Very nice.
Only last session, last 10 minutes, I went because I
No
have one
problem.
another.
No problem.
Yeah.
We understand these are long sessions, so we understand
Yeah.
there can be few things during that. But Navnath, before we start today's session,
Mhm.
uh, can you just summarize, not long, very short, the two type of heuristics that we discussed? One was the planning heuristic, other was the service heuristic. So what was the purpose? Just short purpose of what is the purpose of planning heuristic? And after that, what is the purpose of service heuristic?
Um, I have to go through one more time.
Okay, okay. No
Basically,
problem.
yeah.
No problem. No problem. Anyways, anybody else can?
That's pretty obvious. So planning heuristics are used to similar to MRP in SAP, used to create procurement elements, and scheduling heuristics are used to schedule. They don't create any new elements, but they are used to schedule or reschedule the existing MRP elements according to the requirement dates, as per the exact second.
Yeah, yeah, correct. And what about service heuristic? We touched upon service heuristics as well last week.
Oh, okay. Service heuristics, I mean, from I think the scheduling one is from bottom to top. The service heuristics will be used to adjust the new requirements for the from a planning perspective.
New requirements.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
For example,
Not a,
capacity perspective, capacity, right? Capacity is overloaded. We can run a capacity heuristic. That's a service heuristic. So this heuristic automatically plans the capacities and gives us the planned orders as per the requirement.
okay. So this is not completely right or completely wrong. Just to add to what you said, Girish. So this is three-step process. One is the planning heuristic run, which has a sole purpose to generate. So mark the word generate the planned orders for the shortages. So the planning
Right.
heuristic will do the net requirement calculation, and then when that calculation happens, there are multiple setting that we can do first and all that, so that those details are there. But net planning heuristics is supposed to work out the net requirement or the shortages, and once it gets the net requirement quantity, then it generates the planned order. And when it generates the planned order, obviously at that point in time, it checks lot sizes and all those things. And then it also assigns a start date, a finish date to the planned order by looking at the PDS. So planning heuristic does this, and we have seen in maximum cases, and what is recommended is that when planning heuristic is generating this planned order, they are not allowed. We maintain a setting where we said infinite scheduling, which means while it does understand how long it takes to perform the first operation, second operation, accordingly decides the start date and finish date of that planned order, but it does not see whether there is an already existing operation at that point in time or not. So that scheduling part does not take care. So that's the work of planning heuristic. Now, when the planning heuristic is running, it not only generates the procurement element for the finished product, but also it pass on the dependent demand to the semi-finished or any raw material that we have. And at the same time, it also generates the procurement receipt elements for those products. So if there is a semi-finished product, it will generate the planned order for that. If there is a procured material and if there is a shortage for that procured item also, so it will create a purchase equation for that. Now, when it does that, it does not seize whether my raw material post procurement is reaching to us on time so that I can start my production of my FG. So it does not take care of that dependency as well. So it just keep on generating the receipts without checking the feasibility in terms of timeline dependencies. Okay. So when this planning heuristic has run, it has given us all the receipt elements that are required to fulfill a particular requirement, but it did not check whether my raw material is coming on time, whether my work center has enough capacity to do what these receipt elements are telling. So that's the problem that we still have when we have run the planning heuristic. Okay, I'll take a pause. Anybody has any difficulty in understanding what I said just now?
No, I myself. Can you come again? I mean,
Okay.
I need to get my basics right here. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand, but I will.
yeah, very easy, and we'll show even today. So imagine there is a one FG, and that FG has one raw material. Okay, I don't have, uh, I have zero stock of FG, and I have zero stock of raw material as well. Raw material, when I procure, if I place a PO today for my raw material, it takes 2 weeks to come, because when I give my purchase order, then they will send it to me, and then there is a lead time, procurement lead time of 2 weeks. So the best that can happen for my raw material is post my planning run, I create a purchase order, give it to my vendor, and the best that he can do is to give that raw material quantity of 50, let's say, in 2 weeks from now. Now, without having this raw material 50 quantity, I cannot imagine of producing my FG, right? So I can only start the production of my FG after 2 weeks from today. So this is the reality. Now, keep these facts on the side and imagine that for my FG, I have a sales order of 100 quantity to be delivered next week. And my production lead time of my FG is only 2 days. So what will happen when the planning heuristic runs? It says that there is a sales order next week. So it finds that there is a net requirement. I have a shortage of 100 quantity next week. So it generates a planned order for FG of 100 quantity. So that planned order will be finishing next week because that is when the sales order is. And then it will do a backward calculation that it takes only 2 days. There are two operations. One operation take 1 day, another operation take 1 day. So 2 days. So it will start on the last Friday or Thursday, depending upon the calendar. But on that Thursday, it still needs that raw material to be available. Okay. So what the planning heuristic will do, it will create the purchase requisition for the raw material. And it will see that because the raw material takes 2 weeks, it will tell you that this purchase requisition finish date is 2 weeks from today. But still it will give you the FG's planned order finishing next week only. So at this point in time, when the planning heuristic has run, while it created the receipt element for the raw material as well as your FG, it did not consider that FG planned order before cannot start before our purchase requisition for raw material is coming. So that problem still exists in our plan. Yeah. So we need a subsequent step to solve this problem, which still exists in my plan. So that is where this service heuristic comes into picture. The role of service heuristic is to align the dates of my existing receipts. So my service heuristic is not supposed to generate, quote unquote, generate a new receipt element. No, it has already been generated. Now the service heuristic work is to align the dates of those receipt elements so that this plan is executable and feasible plan. So what it is going to do, looking at the purchase requisition of my raw material that it is going to come only 2 weeks from today. Well, so today is 21st of November. So only 31st of November, let's say, not 31st November, 1st of December is the purchase requisition date for my raw material. So my service heuristic will push the corresponding FG's planned order start date to be starting from 2nd of December. So in the beginning, the start date of my FG's planned order will be 24th or 25th of November. But after running the service heuristic, the start date of my FG's planned order will be pushed to 2nd of December. And then it will take 2-3 days, whatever time it takes. And then it will tell that on the 5th of December, your FG will be finished. and your sales order will still exist on 25th number because that is when the sales order is needed. So it will give you an alert that because of the receipt elements, we are getting delayed. And then if you want to do anything, you can do it. But that is the feasible plan that you have. So that's the purpose of service heuristic, to align the dates of all receipt elements which are needed to produce your FG. Any questions?
Correct. But in this case, I mean, I have one question. Actually, I ran some heuristics over the weekend. So for a finish, all these heuristics we are talking about, for example, I have a finished product B, some finished C raw material. So planned order will be generated for all these materials from planning heuristic for A.
Yes.
I don't need to do anything for B.
No, everything. We will include all my FGs, all my SFGs, all my raw materials in that planning run. So it will. So and in that planning run, we will have these steps. So as I said, we talked 2 steps right now. One is the planning heuristic, and second will be the service heuristic. So we will set up a planning run in which all these steps are there. So the first step, which is planning run, will generate the planned order for all the FGs that we include in that run. All the SFGs, it will generate the purchase for all the raw materials that are needed. So everything will be included in the planning run.
So because I was a bit lost because I didn't get a purchase requisition for my raw material when I ran the planning heuristic. That's what a bit confusing.
No,
it should create, right? It should create.
It creates purchase requisition, but maybe somehow it is not showing in ECC MD04. Okay, it's a different issue.
That's a technical.
No, in RRP3 itself, I checked and it wasn't there. And I went into the scheduling heuristics and ran the heuristic again for a finished product. As a looking from an MRP perspective, I am running a planning heuristic for the finished product that should create elements for all the BOM components, right?
Exactly. Yes. Correct.
So that's the understanding. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So in my case, what happened was I had to run another heuristics for the raw material. That is, I think, maybe some technical input.
Have you considered that raw material as an advanced planning?
No, so, it didn't. No, it didn't. Yeah. So I checked with PD, X0, so many things. I mean, a couple of things I tried, but
we can take a look, Girish, but your understanding is correct. It should happen. If it has not happened, there will be some issue which we can take a look at. But as a concept, it should happen.
Yeah, it is clear. The concept, it is clear. No problem.
Okay. So now we'll move on. Now it was necessary for us because it has been 3-4 days that we had a gap from the last session. So I think now for all of us, it is very clear that what is the purpose of planning heuristic, what is the purpose of service heuristic. Now Jay will take us through one example to talk about the bottom up, and then we'll move on.
As we discussed about the raw material availability. So in a normal MRP run, MRP doesn't consider the availability of raw material. It will plan the finished product as per the lead time mentioned in the routing, that thing. Okay. So, but in this service heuristic, it will consider the raw material requirement of component raw material availability, all thing in this planning run.
Very interesting because obviously in ECC we don't have a concept of linkage between MRP and ATP check.
Exactly. So suppose what we will do, we will consider take one case studies. Okay. So let me share my screen. If anybody doesn't understand, didn't get, so please stop me. Okay. Is my screen visible? Yeah. So we'll take this case study. Okay. So we can see the story. We will use the Fury app also here. So how the Fury monitor capacity utilization Fury of works, how we can see that Fury app. So that will cover in this case study. Okay. So the case study is we have a 3 different product. Okay. Product 1, product 2, product 3. And the requirement of that 3 product is same date, so we enter the PIR and requirement of all the 3 product 1, product 2, product 3, the same date. Okay. As per the customer requirement. Okay. But as a planner, okay, so I should be able to identify the material. I should be able to plan the material, which for which I have a stock component stock in my factory. Okay, that material should plan first, and then based on the requirement, it will other product 2 and product 3 should be shipped to next date whenever I get the material. Okay, this is the case study or a requirement. Okay. So let us take a 3 material. We'll go to system. Okay. So we have a 3 product. This is first product. Okay. So we will check the PIR. Let us go to product view. Okay, this is the first product. Okay, we have a stock of 5 quantity and we have a requirement of 100 quantity for this current month, 25th. Okay, and we have a second product, 004. Okay, for that also we need a 100 quantity. So we'll it's a past quantity and we need this quantity in November month itself.
So
Okay.
let's make it future bit forecast. Just change mode, change. Yeah, we can change the date. 25th of November.
Yeah.
Didn't change.
Yeah.
Maybe we can delete that and create new. It is not. It is not.
We will delete and create a new.
Oh, is it from there? Is it coming from?
Yeah. So we'll change that.
From past. Even before it was in the October month.
Hmm.
01.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will put here 100 quantity.
Will it take in month? With what date it will take?
It will take first of
So let's put in December.
December. Okay.
Yeah, for December 1st, it will take.
Yeah, we'll take in December. Okay. Same thing we'll do for all the 3 product. Let us take this also. We'll remove this. Okay, and then last product 5. So all the 3 products are having requirement for December month. Okay, so you can see 1st of December. So 1st of December and 5th, 1st of December.
Do you want to delete these planned orders?
So will run normal MRP.
Okay.
Okay.
It looks like this is fixed, so it might not get regenerated.
So what is the effect of this fixed indicator in the
So
heuristic
fixed
run?
means the order is firm. Okay. So MRP
Yeah, of
will not
course.
touch this order.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a production order. You know how when we convert the plan order to production order, we cannot miss
No,
MRP will not
no.
touch.
Yeah, the concept is same as this is, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I know that. Okay.
Okay. So now I will run normal MRP run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to do the planning heuristic run right now.
So should I run planning run or MRP?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll run MRP here.
Okay, so even though we are running MRP live, it is going to check these three products are advanced plan, and hence it will check that there is a PP heuristic already assigned. So it will use those heuristics. So MRP live has the capability to
Yes.
to
Yeah.
start
So
with
since these products are driven by advanced planning, so even though if you run MD01N, it will redirect to planning run.
ePPDS
planning run.
Now, what will happen if you run MD01?
MD01.
Yes.
MD01 is what?
It's
MRP
a classic
No, it is
MRP.
MRP run.
That
Let us say
will
MRP
not do
run.
anything.
Yeah, that will not do anything
It
because
Okay.
see, if you go here, let me show you that things.
Yes.
If you see the product master here, we have selected the MRP type. That means X0.
Okay,
Okay,
without
that
MRP.
means
That's what
that
it means.
means
Okay.
MD01, MD02, it will not do anything for this product. Okay, so but
it
if you run,
explodes MRP as I see it, right?
yes, but if you run MD01N, okay, it's a MRP live. It will not do the planning in ECC system, but it will redirect to advanced planning and it will run the planning heuristic PPDS planning based on the heuristic maintained in the product master.
Perfect.
Okay.
Understood.
Yeah. So if you see the result, it will show that things. Let me execute this. Yeah, you can see 5 products are planned, and if you see the products are planned on PPDS, not in MRP HANA classic MRP. You can see the products are planned on PPDS, means advanced planning.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll see the Fury apps. Okay, for this. So we'll execute the Fury app. So capacity. So monitor capacity utilization.
Okay. This is important.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see. Yeah. So this month nothing is there. We'll check in next month. So because we have planned in a December month, so this month it's not showing anything.
So we can see two problems here. One that our raw material.
One
availability
is your overload capacity,
Yes.
and second in your material component availability.
Yeah. So let's see the component availability first.
Yeah.
Second, we'll see
Uh,
capacity. Yeah. Yeah. Was there a question?
No, it's visible. My screen was not visible. Now it's visible.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
I think it's very slow. We'll go to next month. Let us take a 42 days.
Yeah. And what? Which? Okay. It is WC1. Otherwise 3 and 4. Let's take only one so that it is easy to visualize. Interesting.
It's not sure.
Let's see if plant orders are generated or not, first of all. Let's go to RFP. It's there.
Already generated. Detail scheduling is not done. Okay. I will rerun this.
Let's see. Also will run planning, the PTS planning.
Yeah.
Let it be. Let's run the PPDS planning.
Okay.
And then we'll continue to learn MRP live then.
We'll run PPDS.
Yeah.
Logistic.
Yeah.
Advanced planning, then production planning and planning run. We'll run PPDS run. Will not run bottom up here.
Not right now.
Okay, I will delete this.
Both of. Yeah. Correct.
So we'll run planning run here for this material.
Let's take only the 3 that we are working on. Others.
Then 5.
Yeah.
I think exit.
Yeah.
Scheduling is not done.
But what you did just now is same as MRP live, right?
Yeah, same as MRP live.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Parallelly, I will check the scheduling board.
Yeah. I mean, we can first check if planned orders are generated or not.
Yeah.
That also we can do in
Product
view, yes.
Yeah.
Because this heuristic is supposed to generate the planned order, that's the function.
Yeah, plan order is generated.
Yeah, this is a new planned order because you can see the finish date is 1st of December.
1st of December.
So that's why it is new one.
Okay, and then you can see the operations. WC1, I think.
So this has C1, which is this product 3 has C1, and what is the other one? Packing line is C2.
C2.
Okay. So 03 FG is on C1, C2.
Yeah, I will take this. Oops. Not working.
It's okay.
Okay,
We
we'll
can
go
back to the
to
GUI.
planning board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's show two problems here. So first of all, we find that for all these three products, let's find out there is a planned order created. So
Yes.
let's go to one by one, not here. Go back to the product view, and we'll first see that planned orders are created for these three.
This
so for 03 we have got
plan.
There is nothing. Refresh it. Retain. Okay, so we see one planned order for 03. Let's go to 04. Again, it is there. Okay, 05.
Yeah, plan order is created 67.
Yeah, 05.
68.
68. Now, all of these three planned orders, let's observe the finish date of all of them is 1st of December.
1st of December.
Which means all of these planned orders are starting before 1st of December.
Exactly.
Now, can we see what is the work center used in 5? So in 3, we checked it was WC1 and WC2.
Yeah.
For 5, let's find out what is the work center being used. Yeah. So assembly is also C1, C2.
C1, C2, same work center.
Yeah.
Date is same. Start date and end date is
same. Okay. And then the other one, 4. Let's find out what is there in the 4. Something is happening. Yeah. Okay. Thank God. 4.
Yeah, it's the same.
Nice. C1, C2.
Okay.
So now we can go to DS board and see how these operations are running in parallel.
Yeah, so it's a planning board. We'll go, the path for planning board is same. Logistic. Advanced planning, production planning, and then interactive planning. Here we can see the, detail scheduling. Interactive planning and detail scheduling. You can see the variable planning board. So overall profile, planning version, and here we can enter the resource name. Resource 1 to resource 2. Okay.
So while the planning heuristic worked one by one on each product, in the scheduling board, we are looking at the work center. So it's a different view. So we'll see. I mean, it would be a little easy if we only load one. one of the resource.
Yeah, okay.
Let's load.
So we go with
Yeah,
one.
go back and just select one resource. Just take one WC.
Yeah, this one, the first resource, the bottom.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So on this resource, what will happen for all the three products? We have a planned order. So all those planned orders will be seen here.
Yeah.
So go to the right. This view is not very user friendly. So most of the times customers complain about
No,
this.
to be honest with you, I will tell you a story. So in 2007, one of my company implemented PPDS.
Yeah.
In one of the European clients actually during the time. And of course, I was not there, but I heard this story. And after 3 or 4 months, the feedback, the company asked for feedback on the implementation and other things. They said we're not using PPDS, and the answer was planning board is quite messy. Our people don't understand it. They stopped using it and went back to Excel.
That's the reality. You're right. But while we are learning, I will take a look. So this
no, just sharing my experience.
No, that's exactly what happens. So while I have worked in some of the projects, what we try to do is to remove few of these charts which are not needed, and then make it little bit more user friendly. But as is, it is a problem. Okay?
But compared to this GUI planning board, the Fury apps are
little easier,
little easier.
Which is not running right now.
They're a bit better off actually.
Yeah, somehow we could not connect that. So we'll check that. Actually, maybe the connection issue.
I don't know why other planned orders are not showing up here.
I think maybe the date issue. Yes.
No, all those planned orders are finishing on the same time, right? So it should.
Yeah, actually, see, you can overlap. All the plan orders are overlapped each.
That's what I wanted to see. Yeah. Okay, where were we earlier? We were. It is 2211.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So you can see this. All the plan orders are overlapped each.
No, but there is only So 7571 is this one.
Yes.
So is our plan order number? Can you open another session? And we'll see what is our plan order number.
Yeah.
Product view. Three. Let's take three first. So the planned order is 7569. Let's find out there. 7569. Here is it.
6-8. It's a
6-8. 6-7.
6-7. I think it's somewhere.
It may be below, somewhere below. But anyways, I think what we can just talk about here, because it is clumsy to understand, what we are trying to establish here is that on this work center WC1, we will have overlapping operations coming from the planned orders of those three different products. So here at least we can see 70 is here, 7570, and 71 is here. So both of them are overlapping, and then this is not a good plan because we cannot execute two operations at the same time on this work center. But why this has happened? This has happened because we have just run the planning heuristic, and that planning heuristic was the purpose of that was to generate the planned order. It created it. It did not take into account whether there is an existing planned order or not.
Yes.
Okay. So this is problem number one. Now let's see the problem number two. Go back to product view. And we'll go inside this planned order. So what is the start date of this planned order? The start date is 23rd 11, which means it must start on 23rd of November. Now, in order for this to start on 23rd of November, we should have this raw material available by 23rd, because otherwise we cannot start this planned order. So let's see when this purchase requisition is coming. So 95 quantity purchase requisition, this is coming on 30th. So if I get my raw material on 30th of November, how can I start my planned order of FG on 23rd of November? right? So that is the second problem. So when the planning heuristic has run, it did what it was supposed to do. It did generate all the receipt elements. So it generated the plan order for FG, it generated the purchase equation for my raw material, but they are not aligned, and hence this plan is still wrong.
Actually, this plan order should start on 30th of November.
After 30th.
After 30th November. When
Yeah,
we
whenever
get the
it is 20. So after 21:34, and even after this time, our plan order should start. So if it is 30th November start date, the time has to be after this
Hold
time.
on, hold 1 second. Stay here. So is that what the red question mark, I mean exclamatory mark shows?
No, red is different thing. That's the days of supply. So it's
Okay.
it's an alert for we are not covered and all that. But
Okay.
what it is showing here is, and we can have the alert for that also, that it is not in time and all that. But
Right.
what we as a group right now need to visualize is that the planning run has happened. We have got the receipt elements, but dates are not right. They are not aligned, and hence this plan is incorrect. And what are the two things that is incorrect? One is that my raw material is arriving late and my planned order for FG is starting early, which is incorrect. And second, my planned order, whenever it is starting, is being scheduled on a work center where parallelly there are other planned orders scheduled.
Correct.
So these are the two problems that I still have in my plan.
Yeah. So if you
So
see
basically the production plan is not feasible. That's
exactly.
Not executable. Yes, and not
Yes.
feasible. Yes.
So here also you can see the product 2, the start date is 23rd 11. Let us see the material availability. So so for this, I think same thing here also. It's
No, it has not given the passed on the dependent demand here.
demand. Okay.
So there is some problem. What I think Girish was telling.
Okay.
We'll have to check why this is not passing the
Yeah.
demand.
Okay. Same. Let us see the product 5. Yeah, same thing. So it's started from 23rd, but material is meeting on 30th 11. I think for the second 46 we have a material. Let's check this.
Is it the same raw material?
So, no, it's a raw material different. It's a 46.
So there is
we have a stock. Okay.
No, there is no dependent demand.
Yeah, see, because you can see for the this product product number 004, we have a different raw material that is 46, and we have a stock of quantity in our warehouse for the demand. Okay.
No, but is it right that for producing 95 quantity of FG, we only need one
Yeah,
quantity?
actually, that is the reason. So it's a one ratio
Only
is
one.
one. Yeah. Okay. So to produce this 46,
No, ratio is 1 means then 95 quantity is needed, na?
yeah. Actually, for this bomb is different. For 100 base quantity, we need a one raw material.
Okay.
So if you so for this product 004, we need a one raw material of quantity 46, and we have a stock of that raw material in system. For this, it should not be any problem.
So everybody understand what is happening here? If not, this product 004, the 100 quantity of this FG requires only one quantity of this raw material. That's why we are getting this dependent demand of one quantity. So you can see 7567 is the number which is coming from the planned order of FG. So that's why this dependent demand is coming from the planned order of FG. So if you go back to here, excuse me, look at the 7567 is the planned order number of FG, and this is appearing as the dependent demand here for the raw material. So we are getting one quantity of dependent demand, and it has already got one stock of one quantity. So that's why there is no need to generate any purchase equation.
For this product, there is no any product component shortages.
Correct. Whatever demand was there, it's already having the stock.
As per this plan, this product should plan first because we have a raw material.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so
And
what will
that's why
happen next?
because there's no error in the red marks or anything,
Exactly.
nothing is
Yeah,
there.
no error.
Yeah.
So that means the planned start date is 23rd. So I have a stock with me for
No,
the
so
this raw
before,
material.
just before that, Jay,
Okay.
you're right. You're right. Just before that. So now, are we able to visualize the issues? So in my FG 003 and 005, I didn't have the required raw material, and hence this raw material is supposed to be procured by the purchase requisition, and those purchase requisition is being received by 30th of November. Hence, I cannot start my planned order on 23rd. So that's the problem with those two materials. In this material, which is 004, I require the raw material of one quantity for which I already have the stock. So there is no problem with the
Raw
FG. There is no problem with the FG planned order of this material. So I hope if we are able to understand that, then what we'll have to do next is to run the bottom up heuristic, which will understand that for the 004, there is no issue. So it will keep the planned order start date intact for the 004. But for 003 and for 005, it will push the planned order start date, which is currently at 23rd of November. It will push it to 30th of December or 1st of December.
Whenever we get the material.
Whenever the purchase requisition is being received, it will push the start date of planned order after that.
Okay.
So now we'll run that heuristic and we'll show you that.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You wanted to add something.
Yeah, the lead time for the raw materials dictated.
Yeah, it dictated. It will not change. Lead time will not
Yes,
change.
of course.
So only the plan order of the
FD.
finished product FD,
Yeah,
the date will be changed and it will map with the raw material purchase requisition date.
Correct. And this is right.
Yeah, that's
So
understood.
this,
Yeah, understood.
yeah. I think if we go to 04, just to see that 03, sorry.
Yeah.
So this is the push that will happen. You're right. So we'll go here. Exactly. This is where the things will change. So this dependent demand, right now, the dependent demand is 23rd. It will change to either 30th of November or 1st of December.
First, it should change to first as yeah, I
And
think.
hence the planned order start date will also accordingly change.
So for this, we have a service heuristic, bottom-up service heuristic, okay, which will not change any procurement proposal. That means the 95 required quantity or plan order quantity. It doesn't change the procurement proposal, but it will change the date, okay, of that finished product. Okay, that is the function of service heuristic.
Correct. So now we are going to run the service heuristic.
Yeah,
which is bottom up.
so same like MRP run, we will run the planning run. Okay, so advanced planning.
So the ideal planning steps are like one is starting with the planning heuristics. Second is the scheduling heuristic. Third one
Service.
would be the service heuristic, or
No,
it could be
second.
scheduling heuristic can be run. I mean, third or other way possible. Of course, first
No,
is always
so-
going to be planning.
So first we have to run the planning heuristic, then
Yeah,
the service
that's it.
heuristic, and third, last we have to run the scheduling heuristic. That
Oh,
should be the
okay.
sequence.
Oh, okay.
We are about to reach the scheduling heuristic. Just hold on for another 10 minutes.
Sure.
So,
Okay. So here we can execute our plan. There are multiple steps.
so you
Step
can
1,
bring
2,
your
3, 4.
variant. You
Yeah.
can bring your variant.
So I will bring my variant and then we can see.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see the planning version, time profile, propagation range, and display log. Here we have a different step. First step, we will run the normal MRP run.
No, this is stage numbering.
Yeah,
It
stage
just
numbering.
finds out what is
Yeah,
FG, what is
okay.
The second step is planning run, which we are not going to do right now. So we'll
Yeah.
delete this.
Okay.
Just delete it. Third step is bottom up, which
This
is
is the important service
service
heuristic.
We'll keep it, and
Bottom up.
step 4 will delete it. So just delete it. So what we are going to run right now and being very focused is just we are trying to run the service heuristic bottom up, which is supposed to push my planned order date from where it is right now to a new date. So we'll run that. And the first one, the stage numbering is nothing but it identifies what is my FG, what is the corresponding raw material and all that. So that is doing nothing but doing a technical step to identify the stage numbers. Yeah, let's run it.
execute.
Yeah. And we'll go to that screen.
Yeah.
And then just do a refresh here. So observe the date here, 23/11. Yeah. And then we do the refresh. Nothing happened. Go back. Do a refresh. So this is not pushed. Let's look at the other one, 505. 04 has nothing.
Yeah. 05.
No, 04 has no problem. So
Yeah. 04.
So 05 will be pushed if at all anything is pushed.
Actually, 3 should be pushed.
Yes. So even this is also not pushed. It is still starting on.
Okay, we'll run again.
Okay.
Let us see. We'll keep this sequence as
Others also?
Yeah.
Other, okay, that's fine.
We'll
So
keep
then
this sequence.
Remove this one.
Only this we will remove. Okay.
So what is happening now? We are running the planning heuristic as well as the bottom up, both together.
Both together.
And product number.
Actually, here we have considered product.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
I think my rescheduling should be done, but it will not reschedule. Let us see. Yeah, it's changed.
Okay.
Now you can see that date is changed. 30.
So let's see here. The dependent demand and the purchase requisition. So once the purchase requisition is available, 30th November, 9:55 p.m. only at that point, the dependent demand is there, which means the FG planned out the start date and time is the exact same as when it is received. So I hope now this is understood, pretty clear to all of us that what was the problem in the earlier planning run and then what got solved in this by doing the service heuristic. But we still might have the issue of multiple operations stacked on one over the other, because even the bottom up heuristic is not supposed to perform the finite scheduling. Okay, so that is the part that we are going to now see what happens with that. So anybody has any question before we go into that?
Yeah, one question here.
Yeah.
Suppose we have now two operations, right? And there are assignment of few materials in the first operation, and rest of the materials are assigned to the second operation. But in the second operation, I have the whatever we now discussed, that the date is say 30/11.
Yeah.
Okay, the requirement that is purchase requirement for one of the materials will be on 30/11. So in that case, whether that schedule will be start on 30th or it will means the first operation can start before that. Means how the system will work in this case.
No, if you already have the component available, raw material available, then our first operation can start before. In this case, as you see, our raw material was only coming by 30th. So that's why the first operation will for our FG is starting on the 30th. Otherwise, if it is available, sorry, it is the planned order. Yeah. So that's why it is starting on 30th. If it was already available, which was the case in 004, then you can start earlier. So here you see in 004 case, what was happening? We only needed one quantity of our raw material, and that one quantity is already available. So that's why our FG is still starting on 21st, because my raw material is already available, and it is finishing on 28th, while my requirement was on 1st of December. It is finishing early. So all this behavior can be controlled, that don't finish early, only finish on 1st December, because that is when is requirement. That we'll see a little later. But right now, as we understand that service heuristic is supposed to ensure that I am not starting my planned order before my raw materials are available. Okay, so I think this is clear to us. Now, at this point, while we have run two heuristics, one was the planning and second the service, we still have a problem. And what is that problem? Let's find out. So 003, we have got a planned order of 95 quantity and which is finishing on when 612. So let's find out what is the what are the operation dates. So let's click on this. So see, the first operation is happening from 30th to 2nd and second operation is between 2nd to 6th. Where is this happening? Obviously WC1 is where the first operation is happening and WC2 is the second operation that is happening. So from 30th to 6th, first 3 days WC1, second to 6th WC2. Now look at the other FG. So this was 003. Now go to 005. This is the planned order. This planned order is also from 30th to 7th. Instead of 6th, it is ending on 7th. And look at the operations.
Same operation.
30th to 5th is the first operation, 10, and then 5th to 7th, which means 30th, 1st and 2nd. These are the 3 days when my WC1 is loaded by the operation of these 2 planned orders. Are we able to visualize that? Unfortunately, our DS board is not working as we wanted to, but at least from the dates here, we can, I think we can visualize that this particular operation 10 is scheduled on WC1 and it is starting from 30th and ending on 512. So this is for my this planned order, but for the other planned order, which is of other product, which is 003, that was between 30th to 2nd of the December. So at least these are the dates where there is an overlap. Okay, 30th to 2nd. Very nice. So still my plan is not correct. Why? Because I cannot do 2 operations on the same work center WC1 between 30th to 2nd. So what will be a correct plan? The correct plan will be that this operation should move backward, forward, etc. We'll see, but this is the problem that we are going to now solve using the scheduling heuristic. Okay, is that correct? Is that fine? Very nice.
Yeah, sounds fine. I mean, logical, right?
Yes, very logical. And this is exactly we wanted all of us to understand. Until and unless we visualize the problem, we will not be able to understand what system is going to do in using those heuristics. Okay, so it's very clear and it's important to understand that.
And we should be clear to use function of all the 3 heuristic: planning heuristic, service heuristic, and then scheduling heuristic.
Yes. So do you have that PPT that I shared?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's open. We are going to open a PPT that is just to guide us how to move. We will be mostly in the system, just to see what. Yeah. All right. Very quickly, first 2-3 page, and then we go to the system. So we have now reached detailed scheduling. We understood what problem this heuristic is going to solve. This heuristic is going to help us make sure that no 2 operations are scheduled on a resource at the same time, because that's not possible. That can be possible sometimes if there are multiple number of, if there are more number of individual what is that capacity. So if it's a multi-activity resource, that's still possible, but just not to confuse ourselves, we assume that our resource is single activity, which means at one point in time it can only perform one activity and hence one operation. Okay, and hence the plan that we have in our example right now is not correct. So objective of any delay, reduce the lead time of when we avoid delays, fulfilling customer order and all that trick. That's fine. Okay, so how do we do that? So one of the configuration setup that we do in PPDS is to create a strategy profile. So what is a strategy profile? I'll just, the pointer is here. So a strategy profile is nothing but a group of scheduling strategies. Okay, which means in a strategy profile, there are multiple strategies, and what is there inside a strategy we'll see. So then strategy profile becomes very easy. What is this? Nothing but the list of multiple strategy in a sequence. So on the right hand side, we see SAP has given multiple strategy profile 001, 002, 004. So there are various strategy profiles, and within these profiles, what are the strategy that we will see in the system, but then these are the different strategy profiles. Can we create our own? Yes, we can create our own strategy profile and we can assign our own strategy. So that is possible. So very high level, what is strategy profile? Nothing but list of strategies in a sequence. Within this strategy profile, there is one strategy profile for which detail is given in this PPT, but we'll look at that in the system itself. Okay. The system uses the first strategy defined in the strategy profile, and if that's not able to schedule the orders as they're respecting the parameters, it will try to schedule the order in the next step. So what happens in my strategy profile, and we will see that we can have multiple scheduling strategies, and system follows those strategy one by one. So first it takes the first one and creates the order. If not, then go to the second. So for now it's okay. Strategy profile, list of strategies. Now scheduling strategy. So as you see on the right hand side, within a strategy profile, this is the profile name ZS4H scheduling. We have got this strategy noted here. So it has 3 strategies. What are these strategies? Scheduling strategies. So the first one is backward scheduling. We'll see details. Second, backward with reverse. Third, forward. So what is going to happen when we use this strategy profile? I am instructing PPDS to generate PPDS planned orders by using these strategy in sequence. So first use one. So which means in our example, okay, in our example, what is happening? Between 30th of November to 2nd of December, we have two operations, two planned orders operations on the same work center WC1. So if we ask PPDS to run a scheduling heuristic using this scheduling profile, then it will try to move one of those operation backward forward by first referring to the first strategy, which is backward scheduling. Okay, and what is there inside, we'll go into details right now, but this is a sequence by which it will try to move the operations in forward or backward. Now within this backward scheduling, what do we have? What setup that we have? So we can see here, the strategy number is 1. So this is 1. So this one is appearing here. Okay. And then there are certain setups that we'll talk about. Shall we talk here or shall we go to the system? Okay, so let's go to the system and let's see this. So we'll go to SPRO and then we'll talk about this.
Can we have can we do without this scheduling profiles?
No, a scheduling profile is needed.
Is it mandatory?
It's mandatory, yes. And you will understand why, because the fields that we'll understand now is needed while moving the orders. So that's why this is needed. Okay. Strategy profile. Yeah. Yeah. So these are all strategy profile, as we talked, are given by SAP. So if I just select the first one, SAP 001, and click on the strategies, we will see. So there is only one strategy right now in this. So that's why only one has come up. Let me just see if there is a strategy which is having more strategies inside. This is also having only one. Let's see. 4. Okay, let's find out 4. This also have one. Okay, so I think SAP has created one strategy profile with one strategy only. So doesn't matter. We can create our own, which can have multiple strategy as we see. So for going to detail, I'm just going to go to the first one and see. So in SAP 001 strategy profile, I have one strategy whose strategy number is 1, which means there is only one strategy. Okay. Now, what are the various settings inside it? So we'll go to understand that. I'm just going to. So strategy number 1 is very clear that within the profile, there can be more strategies. So first one is this one. So that's the strategy number. Now cross strategy parameters. What does this mean? So within this profile, if there are more strategies, so 1, 2, 3, so these setting will be applicable to all the strategy numbers. So for first strategy, second strategy, and third strategy, any strategy being used during the run, these parameters will be same. Scheduling offset. What it means is that when my planned order start date is determined, at that point in time, whether that start date and time should be same as what is the time right now, or I want to have the start date and time little bit ahead of time. Why this is required? Because the planning run, the batch jobs are running at night. Okay. The planned orders will be generated at night, but the real execution of that planned order can only happen tomorrow because planner is going to come to office tomorrow. So that's why sometimes it is necessary to have some offset so that whenever this batch job is running, it is trying to create the planned order start date and time to match what is my current time right now, but that is not right. So we maintain 12 hours, for example. So since I know already at the time of creating this strategy profile that my batch job is going to run at night, but my planner is going to come tomorrow and then he takes the decision. So the real execution of the order can only happen 12 hours after this is created. So that's what we maintain here. Okay. So that's the scheduling offset. Now this offset.
No, sorry. One second. If you have some values here, what does it mean? Let us say if you have value of 5.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
It is 5 minutes, or we'll see. Control shift F1.
I think it's
seconds or
minutes.
days.
Okay.
Minutes.
You can say maximum.
Minutes.
Yes.
So
minutes only. Yeah.
Suppose if you want to start the order in past also, we can maintain minus. So then order will go to start from past, considering the current date.
Yeah, well, that's possible, but I don't know why somebody will do that. But this field does take negative values if required. Okay. Okay. So we understood the purpose. Okay. Second one is the current modes, retain or select any mode. This is very, very important. So what happens, as we have seen, that the strategy has the purpose of moving your order. So it is not supposed to create a new order. Okay. So when it moves the order, it moves to ensure that on the work center where there is a when there is an overload, I mean, there are two operations scheduled on the work center at the same time. So it has two options. One, to move it on the same work center. There is another option to change the work center itself. Okay. So when we tell retain, so retain means so for that operation continues to be scheduled on the same work center, in our case work center 1 WC1, but because there are two operations, so one has to move forward, backward, we'll see. But with this setting called retain, system will not check for alternative resource for that operation. But if we maintain this select any mode, then what it will try to do, if there is another resource available at the same time between 30th of November to 2nd of December, in that time frame, if there is another resource on which it can be executed, it will go to that resource. So this is very important setup to understand that it helps the operation to continue to be scheduled on the same work center or go to the other work center.
Alternate
work center.
For
Can
example,
you do F1 on this? Sorry. Can you do in F1?
Okay.
Alternative resource. So that's what you said.
So for example, suppose you have a two different PDS, like production version. Okay, and also you have selected alternative operations, or you have considered the alternative resource for that particular operation. Okay,
correct.
If we select a retain, it will not check alternative resource or a PDS. Okay, it will consider the same work center, and suppose there is a clashes of two plan orders, then it will take first plan order, and then second plan order will be rescheduled further.
Forward, backward, we'll
forward,
see that
backward.
setup, but it will continue to be on the same work center.
Yeah, okay. But if you consider the alternative work center, then it will search the alternative work center, and then it will plan on that work.
Correct. Correct. Very nice. So we understood these two very important one. Then there is a desired date. This is little confusing, but what it actually says is that because you're going to move my operation because of the overload, now my operation should start today or start at the earliest available date. So this date really guides my operation to when to start or when to end. That will depend on backward forward, but this is one of the guidance that we give from here to our operation in terms of what should be the start date, or if you don't understand it right now, no problem, just keep it with you. We will come back to this because when we learn other settings, it will make much more sense at that point in time. Okay, so there is a date that we are telling to the system when it is moving our operations. Okay, then there is a scheduling sequence. Okay, this is also very important point to understand. Now, in our example, we have seen that between 30th of November and 2nd of December, we have two different operations scheduled. These two operations are belonging to two different planned orders, and those planned orders of different materials, right? So this is clear to all of us. Now, if we say retain mode, which means what? Now the operation, these two operations need to be scheduled on the same work center, which is WC1, but then one has to move. So how to decide which planned order need to move? Because between 30th of November to 2nd of December, there is a capacity on which one of the operation can still be there. So how do system understand which operation to keep in this time, in this period, and which one to move? So what it does is that using this scheduling sequence, we provide the guidance to the PPDS that between these two operations, with this criteria, you prioritize, you create a sequence that which is the first operation to be scheduled and which is the second one out of those two. Okay, so there are so many options. The easier one that I will tell you, which will help us to understand and move, is to, let's say, start. There is a start date and there is end date, and then there is a start date. So it will be easier for us to understand. Okay.
So for example, partial confirmation also, you can see the partial confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everybody understand confirmation, which they will, but I think this one will be a little easier. Okay. You see start date and time. So in our example, both the operations were starting at the same date, which was 30th of November. But when we look at the time, maybe the time is different. So when we use this as the sorting criteria,
It's not edit.
yeah, I think we'll have to do edit. So when if this is the sort criteria, so what it will do, looking at both of those operations, it will find out which operation is starting earlier than the other one. And if the start date is same, what is the start time for both of operation? Whichever is starting ahead will be kept at the same time, and the operation which is starting later on the same day will be moved.
Yeah.
So is this clear? This is very important, scheduling sequence.
Yeah, one thing I would like to say is it looks like there are too many options here for
Yeah.
scheduling, right?
Yes.
For example, Girish, so the first criteria is again clashed.
Yeah.
What would be the next criteria? In that case, we can give the sequence wise. For example, my current production order is already started. It is in process. Okay, so there should be a first criteria for partial confirmed order. Correct. In that case, we can give the first criteria for partial confirmed order that should be kept as it is, and then other orders should be moved further further.
Correct. So
that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
yes. So that ways there are so many. That's where PPDS is so much flexible, so much powerful. You can control the sequencing based on whatever business requires.
It's based on business scenario, business requirement.
But as a consultant,
No. But I would say first the thing is we need to understand these things.
Yes, correct. As a consultant, we need to understand all those options and what is the business meaning so that we can guide them and guide the system. Okay. So you understand these three now. Okay. Now we move on. So the next one and what we are learning right now is the setting within the strategy. Okay. So in a strategy profile, there are different strategy. Within a strategy, these are the settings that we mentioned, and then accordingly, the operations are moved based on this setup that we do. Okay. The first one, general strategy parameter. This is scheduling mode. Okay. Now that we have understood that out of two of the operation, Which one is going to stay there is, let's say, operation 1 of the first planned order, and the operations second of the other planned order needs to move. So how that other one is going to move, that's where this scheduling mode comes into picture. So it is going to work on that operation, which is now going to move from its original place. So then we have 3 options here. One is find slot. Okay, so I'll just quickly go back to our PPT. Where is the PPT? Okay, let's go back to PPT. And it will be easier because there is a graphic there. So for us to talk, it will be easier. So we have come to this scheduling mode, find slot. Okay, very easy. You see, this is the pointer. Okay, let's use the pointer, correct. Yeah, so this is the status when we did not run the scheduling. Okay, so operation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 operations which are scheduled on a particular work center, and there is a new operation that has got this desired date. Okay, which means desired end date, and the scheduling direction will come into picture because it is backward. Example is backward, so the desired date becomes the end date, and then this operation is going in the left hand side in the past, I mean in the backward direction. So now here there is no space, so it is actually overloading the resource here. So it goes in the backward direction because we have the search backward for the slot. So it is looking for a available slot which is required for this operation. So it is goes in the backward and then finds the slot and then it fits in here. So find slot and backward works in this way, which means in our case, the 2 operations are starting from 30th of November and one is ending on 2nd December, another is ending on the 5th of December. So let's assume that the operation which is ending on 5th of December needs to be rescheduled based on the sort sequence. So then and we have set up the find slot and then the backward direction. So what it will do, it will go backward and then it will find the slot like this. It needs to have the entire time slot. So if it is taking five days, for example, so we need to have a slot of 5 days where it can put the entire operation in that.
It can't have partial time.
No, it will not.
Okay.
No. Unless we allow the breaking of that break, if the multiple breaking is allowed, then only it will do that. Otherwise not.
It will work if there is no any slot. Okay, in that case, we have to go with the insert operation. Okay, that means it will create a gap. Somebody, please mute yourself. Hello.
Let's see.
Can you mute all?
No. I think it is
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we are good. So what happens if our strategy setup is like this? So we decide first only that my strategy number 1 will have find slot and backward. So if it is find slot and backward, this is the behavior. If it is find slot and forward, then it will go ahead in time and then try to find the slot there. You see the desired date behavior differently. So based on the direction, backward or forward, my desired date acts either as the end date of my operation, or in this case, when it is forward direction, it is acting as the start date of my operation. Okay, so that's why it changes its behavior. The desired date changes its behavior based on the strategy direction that we have. Okay, even if it is not clear, no problem. It is not a big deal. But what is important for us to understand is that find slot means exact timeline I need to find either in backward or forward and then put the entire operation there. So that's
all these adjustments are being carried out at a planned order level, right?
No, at an operation level. You see
Operation.
Here, OPR1.
No, operations are fine. I mean, operations are belong to planned order, right?
Yeah, correct.
I mean, if you go one level above.
No. But planned order can have 2 operations in which operation 1 is on work center 1 and operation 2 is work center 2. So when I am working on operation 1 and work center 1, I don't care about operation 2 of that planned order. I mean, I care, but in a different way. And that's why it is very, very important to understand that this scheduling is happening for a work center and all the operations on that work center is being scheduled. It has nothing to do with the planned order at that point in time.
Oh, okay. It is very, very scheduling is very, very work center specific then.
Yes, yes, only work center specific. And in this diagram, it is showing us WC1. It has nothing to do with WC2, which is part of that planned order. No, it has nothing to do with WC2 at this point. So it's very good question and very important understanding to have. Our scheduling process works at the operation level,
resource level,
and the resource level and for an operation. So you will always see no mention of order. You will always see operation here, and also in the text you will find the operation.
Yeah. So I was wondering where did the orders go? I mean that's not the question here, obviously.
Yeah, orders will take care of itself. We'll see.
Itself themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Thanks. So yeah, so I think this is fine. Find slot is clear. It just need to find a place backward or forward where entire operation can be put. The second one is insert operation. So here what is happening? This is the previous situation. So my operation is overlapping with operation 4 here, and this is the desired date. The direction is backward. So insert operation means I don't want to move much. Okay, so I will just try to move as much this operation 4 ask me to move. Because of the sort sequence, operation 4 has higher priority than the new operation. So operation 4 remains there, but then new operation go to the left, makes the slot for itself, which means it pushes all the other remaining 3 operations that will schedule on the work center. So this is insert operation. So it finds the time slot for itself by inserting itself. In earlier case, what was the case? It was not moving any other operation. It was just going and finding if there is a timeline in which I can fit myself into. So it was not moving other operation. It was moving itself. But in the insert operation, it moves others to fit itself. But while it is fitting itself, it is moving itself as well. So it is moving itself and it is moving others. So that's your insert operation. Walk backward forward is clear. It's the same behavior as we had earlier. And the third one is squeeze in operation. Okay, so here squeeze in operation means it is not moving itself. So whatever start and end date this operation has, it is going to keep that start and end date, and it is going to push all the other operations that are occupying the work center at that point in. So for the first 3, it is moving them to the left. For the next 2, 4 and 5, it is moving them to the right, but it is not moving itself. So he is a king. Insert operation.
I think between insert and squeeze, what is the difference here?
Yeah. So the difference is that in the insert operation, the new operation was moving itself as well. So the start and end date of new operation is changing.
It's flexible in that way. Okay.
Yes, flexible.
So the new operation start and end date has changed. Operation 4 remained there. So it did not change the 4 and 5. Okay, it changed itself and some of the other ones. But in this case, it is moving everybody except itself.
Oh, okay. Dadagiri karta hai. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing dadagiri here. So it's a start and end date is kept what it was earlier.
So high priority customer.
So yeah, this operation is the Salman Khan. Okay.
So that is a business requirement. I would say if a rush order or something comes in, we should use this particular scheduling mode. Right.
Exactly. Correct.
Yes. So all these options are there. Now, obviously, we'll use this as we know it. So we understood. So now I'll come back to this screen once again. Where is? Okay, because it is in that mode that we escape. Yes. Yeah, this is fine. No?
Yeah, this is. So we have to go.
No, go to again to strategy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this one. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. A quick recap once again. Okay. Strategy profile, nothing, just a placeholder where we keep multiple strategies. Okay. So strategy number 1, 2, 3 will be there. This one, this view is about the setup within a strategy. So in this strategy, we have offset as 0. We understood what is the meaning of offset. Whenever an operation will be rescheduled, we want that operation to start not just right now when the job has run or when the scheduling has run, rather 10, 15, 20, half an hour from now. So that setup is this. Current mode, most important, very, very important. Whether you want to retain that work center on which my operation is already scheduled, or you want to change the work center itself and making sure that the timing of that work center, the timing of that operation, the start and end does not change. The work center itself changes. Okay. So that is this setup. Current date, it's okay. We'll see later. Scheduling sequence. When there is a conflict, when there are multiple operations scheduled on a work center at the same time, how to prioritize them? That control is here in the sort sequence. So accordingly, all those conflicting operations are first of all put in a sequence that operation 1 is first, operation 2 is second, and all that. And then we have the setting to understand whatever operation needs to move now from that point, what is the mode? So find slot, insert operation, squeeze in operation, and then there is a append operation which we didn't talk. It is not much in use. Infinite scheduling is obviously one of the options that we have. And then there are a few more which we can take a look, but these three are more important. Okay, find slot, insert operation, squeeze in operation. And then the next one is finite capacity. Okay, so here there are two options. One is time continuous. For PPDS, we use this, and I'll just touch upon what is the difference between these two so that you can visualize. Okay, so we know our work centers, there is a start time that we say 000, and then there is an end time 23:59:59. So what PPDS does is it creates a time chart. So in the DSU, detailed scheduling board, we see that there is a continuous time view in which we can place my operation anywhere. Okay, so time continuous capacity means it can schedule an operation any point within that 24 hours going to exact second details. What it means is that I can start my operation at 9:15 9 a.m. 15 minutes and 25 seconds. So at this exact time, I can start my operation. That can only be possible if my finite capacity is time continuous capacity. What is bucket capacity? Bucket capacity means I want to work in hourly buckets. So I can schedule my operation either at 11 a.m. or at 11 or 12 p.m. or 10 a.m. There is no in between where I can start. So when we go for a bucketed planning, bucketed capacity, we need to define what is that bucket, and that bucket can be hourly, it can be daily, it can be weekly, and then my operations can be scheduled only based on those buckets. So 10 a.m. bucket or 11 a.m. bucket. We are not going to much talk about the bucket capacity because we are going to talk about the time continuous capacity, and hence this is the most widely used PPDS functionality, finite capacity.
Sorry, one question here. So you had you said time continuous capacity. PPDS puts a chart across the board, 24 hour based on the 24 hours. So let us say if a resource has a definition of capacity from only 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. In that case, it will fix only during that time period, right? That operations.
Correct.
Not the 24 hours as we see it.
No.
Okay.
Correct. You're right. So whatever we have got in the resource, start and end time, between only that time we will schedule the operation.
Definition.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the only thing to keep in mind is that within that time period, we can schedule exactly by the second.
This time is important. So start time and end time. It will consider that time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But because of the being time continuous, you can schedule at 10 a.m. 15 minutes 27 seconds. So that's the time when you can start because it time continuous. If it was bucketed by 1 hour, then my operation can only start either at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. So that's the difference. Okay. All right. So coming back to this, the next one is finiteness level. So what is this? This is there is a business need sometimes that while all the work centers from S4, which we send across to PPDS, they will only come only if they are finite scheduling relevant. Okay. Otherwise, there is no purpose of sending them. But within, let's say there are 3-4 work centers that we have sent to PPDS, and they're all finitely scheduled work centers. But within that, sometimes we only want to perform finite scheduling on the first 2 resource and not on the other 2 resources. While they are capable of performing finite scheduling, but because of the business requirement, I don't want to do that. Okay. And hence, while there is an umbrella setting of making all the 4 work centers to be finitely scheduled, I have another control that out of 4 of those work centers, I want to really perform the finite scheduling for the first 2 and not to the other 2. That can be achieved by having the finiteness level. So here, if I maintain the finiteness level as 2, for example, while it can be 9. So if I maintain as 2, then out of my 4 work center, the first 2 work center will have finiteness level as 1. The other work center will have finiteness level at 2. The third one will have level 3 and fourth one will have 4. And here I will maintain it as a 2. So then what will happen? Only first 2 work center will be finitely scheduled and the work center 3 and 4 will not be finitely scheduled, even though they are capable of doing that. Does that make sense? So it is an additional.
No. Can you, sorry, can you come again? Just in short again.
In short, it is an additional control. While I said that 4 of my work center has the capability to be finitely scheduled, I still don't want my scheduling job to perform finite scheduling on all 4 of them. While they can be done, but I don't want. And for my batch job or the planning heuristic, scheduling heuristic, to leave those work center 3 and 4 away from my scheduling run, I can have the finiteness level maintained as 2 here. So if I maintain 2, then only the work center which has finiteness level as 1 and 2, they will be included in the planning scheduling run, and the work center with finiteness level 3 and 4 will be left. So it's a additional control. We normally don't use this. Okay, it's while this is there.
No, the indicator in the work center capacity takes into account, comes into picture here, I believe, right? The indicator for the finite scheduling, so in the work center capacity definition.
So if we go into the work center, maybe resource, we will be able to see the finiteness level there. But I think because we're running a little late, so and I know that this is not widely used, so I think we can just move from here.
I will have a look at it later.
Yeah. Now planning direction, I think more or less we understand, all of us understand that forward means what? We take the start date of the operation and then see how much time that operation takes, and then we find out the end date. Okay, so that's forward. Backward, we know we take the end date of the operation and then we take the time and then we come back and calculate the start date. Reverse, forward reverse means start date being today, we go into forward, and then if we don't find enough time, then we come back. Okay, so that's the forward and reverse. Come back means we come back and then calculate the start date. While we started with the start date of today, we go in the future and then don't find time in future. So we get another end time and then we come back. So that's the reverse. Similarly, backward and reverse means we take an end time and we calculate the start date. And since if the start date goes in the past, then we take today's date as the start date and then we calculate the end date again. So very similar in concept. Reverse means there is a problem when you are calculating the start date for the backward and you find that the start date goes into past, so you cannot do that. So that the reverse comes into picture, and forward you go to the F to find out the end date, and then there is a problem in the end date. So that's the reverse. Now very quickly moving ahead. Non-working times, if we check this, then it still schedules the order in the holidays. Okay, so they are very specific. Whether campaign requirement will not go into detail. There is campaign planning functionality which we can study later. Validity of period of orders, don't consider. So what happens, we know that when we create the planned order, or when we are moving this particular operation, at that point in time we can move my operation in backward direction to any date which is still in future. Okay, so 30th November start date was the problem, was the problem operation which I wanted to move. So I can move that operation anywhere from 21st November to 30th November. So there I have 9 days in which I can schedule my my operation. But it says that the validity need to be checked. So whether my PDS for the FG is valid from 21st November or not, while I have time, but it may be possible that my PDS only is valid from 25th of November. Yeah. Okay, so consider that whether my component or semi-finished that goes into this FG, if that PDS is valid or not. So basically what it says is that all the things that are associated to this operation directly or indirectly, check the validity of those things, and then decide where to put this operation in the timeline. Okay, it's going more and more into details. I mean, as you go into this, it is going into that very high, but high level. You understand that it considers all the associated validity of everything that is related to that operation. The second one, very important, and post this we'll go ahead. Lowest mode of priority. So we have seen here on the top that it is possible that when we are solving the overloading of a resource, there is an option of selection of another work center itself. Okay, if this is a setup. So in that case, if this is the setup, select any other mode. So it is possible that I can have multiple alternative resources. So while my primary resource is overloaded and hence I am going to find an alternative resources, it may be possible there are 3, 4, 5 different alternative resources. So then how to find which is to be considered first out of those multiple alternative resources? So this is where it comes into picture. So these are the priorities of my alternative resources. Okay. Now, obviously A is the primary one, but then B and C. Now imagine I have 10 alternative resources, but out of those 10, I just want to use 5 of them. So this is that setting. So so here it has taken O as the lowest. Instead of this, I can say F as the lowest. So what will happen in that case? It will look for B, C, D, E, and F. So only 5 of these alternative resources it will consider, and all the other alternative resources which has the priority as G, H, and I, it will still not see. So it is controlling out of all available alternative resources, how many of them it want to check. And then if I put F here, then it will first check B. I mean the resource which has the priority B, and if there is no capacity on that work center, then it will go to C. So it will go in that sequence. Yes. But it will only reach till F, and then it will leave everything else. So that's this setting. So how to?
So then, sorry, this definition must be in resource, right? This
Yes.
priority. Yes.
So let's
it
see
should
that.
Be marked. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see that. Okay. So Jay has set up one PDS where we have multiple modes or multiple resources. So we'll see that now. Yeah.
If you see product master, we'll go product view. We have this product. We'll check the
Maybe we can directly go to
PDS.
PDS. We created one last favorite is PDS below. Now go down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll check the PDS. Activities. So here you can see the main resource is this WC30, which is in routing operation. Okay, but this is not there. This is the alternative resource which we have for this WC3. And we have maintained here the mode means priority A and B.
Okay.
So here you can change it. So for example, it is a B priority. If the capacity is overloaded on this resource, the main resource, it will search the alternate resource, that is the WC4. Say example, if we have another resource and which is having priority B and this is having C, then it will go to third resource to search the capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we can maintain the priority mode. Okay, in
So
the
what is the
product master.
business need, Pankaj here? So business requirement.
okay.
I
This
just
is
trying to
the-
visualize. Yeah.
This is the only business requirement that we have been using PPDS for here. So in one of the projects here at Birlasoft, which is quality needles, there they make needles, and in the routing they have almost, I mean, 15 to 20 operations, and each operation can be performed at 20 to 25 different work centers. So what they wanted us to generate daily plan, finding out wherever there is a capacity during the day, give me the planned orders so that my entire shop floor is optimally used. So this is yeah. So this was the major requirement for which they were implementing PPDS. Correct. Alternate work center is the
So by looking at the client's business process itself, we can decide whether to use these things or not. I mean, a few things here.
Exactly.
Right?
correct. So
Yeah.
what a PPDS consultant from need to understand is these are the capabilities that PPDS offers. And then when we go to clients, we hear from
So
them
if you
what
have
is
a very less, work centers that are not changeable, I mean, operations are not changeable, this is not useful. I mean, more priorities are
needed.
not
Yeah,
useful.
not needed.
Okay.
Not needed. If
Okay.
you have a
Okay.
particular work center, bottleneck work center, and there are multiple alternatives, okay, and we need to consider that alternative resource. In that case, this functionality we have to use.
Correct.
Yeah, normally which is not in the S4 normal ECC.
If not
Yeah.
needed, then we will have that retain mode in the strategy, and then it does not change the.
Change. Correct.
It goes ahead. Okay.
It's going on the same work center. Okay. All right. So I think we are close to. Oh, we came out of that screen, I guess. In SPRO.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because it is so important. So after this, we'll go to the scheduling heuristic, but within that heuristic, these setups are there. So once we understand the business meaning of this, it will be easier to understand the heuristics. Okay, so yeah, so this is the strategy. So validity period of order, mode priority, these we understood. Resource network link priority, it has a business meaning, it has a functionality, which we not go to details right now. Block planning will not understand right now. Scheduling, maximum runtime. Maximum runtime is all about whenever this strategy is being used by one of the scheduling heuristics, how long that job should run, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, etc. So it just controls how long to run. That's all. Actions in case scheduling error. Okay. So sometimes what might happen that based on all the above setup that we have done, PPDS is not able to still find a place for that operation to put. Okay, so we said it's insert slot, for example, but there is no slot available, and then all these setups are there. So in that case, if there is a scheduling error, means a resource in operation ultimately is not able to find a place, then what should be done? So then these are the options: delocate, deallocate. Deallocate means don't schedule it in any work center, which means it will have a start and end date, but it will not have any associated work center. Okay, so that is the meaning of deallocate. Schedule infinitely. So these are some of the options that that we give, and then accordingly PPDS will behave. Okay, very quickly go to the next one. So here there is a sub mode. So strategy parameter for dependent objects. Now dependent objects are two types. One is in my planned order, I have two operations. So first operation was on WC1 and second operation was on WC2. So when my WC1 related operation 10 is moving, what should happen to the operation 20, which is on WC2? So that is what is being maintained here. So the impact of movement of one of the operations within a planned order, how to handle, how to impact the connected other operation. Okay, so scheduling sub mode. Sub mode means dependent operation. How to handle that? So this option is dependent operation infinitely, means do whatever you want to do. But there is another options, schedule dependent operation according to scheduling mode, means we will check if my current operation is being scheduled by insert operation, then use insert operation for the next one also. Yes. Okay, so that's how these different options, find slot, dispatch and all that, these are all there. So you'll understand, but at a higher level, this guides how to treat the connected other operation of my planned order. That is one. We can also have a semi-finished product. Okay, so if I move my FG's operation, obviously my semi-finished product has to be available before or after. Then only the FG operation movement makes sense. So that also tackles if my FG's operation is moving left or right, how should my SFG's connected SSG operation should move? So all those movements is being controlled from here. Okay. Order internal.
Sorry, can you do an F1 there on the schedule?
F1.
Depend, yeah. Schedule dependent operations. Or pretty big.
Yeah, it's the same thing, I think. But
and basically what it says is that use the same strategy, scheduling mode, what our original. So this is talking about the dependent operation, right?
Dependent
so
operation. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, the planned order for the dependent resource materials, right?
Yeah, not planned, not planned.
No,
no. What we are doing here, we are working at a resource WC1, and we are seeing that there is an operation 010, operation 10 of a planned order, which needs to move. So when we are moving the 10th 010 operation of a planned order on that work center, what should happen to the 020 operation of the same planned order? Okay, because my 010 operation and 020 operation are connected there in sequence, only 20 can only start when 10 finishes, because that relationship exists. Hence, I need to do something with 20 because 10 is moving. Yes. So this setup, what we are talking right now, is about how to control the scheduling of 020 while I am still working on 010. So this is that setup.
Okay, so dependent operations, it means it not what I thought.
It is always operations, correct. It is all
operations. Always operations. Okay, got it.
Always operations. And when we move ahead, it will go to activity within operation also. So next we are going to go there. So it is never talks, it never talks about order. Order is gone when when we were
in scheduling, we
No,
have to
no,
categorize
no. You know,
operation.
our mindset goes that way. So
yeah, I agree. Normally, it's easier to visualize in order, but the PPDS is
now I
as we
think
call.
we got a new goggle. I mean glasses probably to look at these things.
Yeah, new
Yes.
lens to look at all this. Okay, so this is where we say that all your dependent operations you treat the same way that you're treating 10 with and all that. So those setups are there. So you can read through this. Nothing very this one. The second one is order internal relationship, means that the example that I gave just now. So within an order, order internal. So within an order, I have 10 first operation and 20 other operation. So we say always consider that connection. So when this strategy will be used and when 10 is moving around, because of this setup, always consider it will ensure that the 20 is also moving. We can choose to say do not consider. If we say do not consider, then what will happen? 10 will move and 20 will remain in as it is wherever it was. Okay, so the good practice is not the good practice. One of the option is always consider. Second is cross order relationship. What is cross order? I have the operation on which I'm working right now is for FG. So 10 is the operation of FG. There is a cross order relationship, means my FG planned order cannot start if my corresponding SFG planned order has not finished. Correct? So because SFG is one of the input to my FG. So if SFG has a planned order and there are operations within that, then there are cross order relationship is there between the operations. So do I need to consider or always consider, not consider, and all that? So here the setup is do not consider, but I may choose to consider. So we can create a new strategy in which I can say that yes, consider, but here it is do not consider. But the meaning is that between two planned orders, what is do I want to establish and keep that relationship established during the when the movement of one of the operation is happening? That's this compact schedule. It is actually looking at the timing, and we'll talk about that a little later. No need to go into detail right now. Then I think the last thing that remains is there is a queue time in our routing.
Yeah, queue time, wait time.
Wait time.
Yeah.
So that also comes into picture here, compact schedule.
Yes.
So what it does is that it considers those timings,
Yeah.
and then it try to compress. So not only here consider maximum planning relevant minimum, but I think for now we will not go there.
Yeah.
It will become too much difficult for us to understand. But all those timings that we maintain there in our routing also comes through, and then it also gets involved in the scheduling process. Where is my PPT?
Let me-
Yeah, so very quickly, heuristic pointer option. So this we understood. Finance understand. So in this, okay, I have not captured that part.
Heuristic.
Yeah, I was just trying to see that takt time, wait time, etc. But anyways, so I think those timings will also play a role, which we'll talk a little later. But the next topic is the scheduling heuristic. Now, how much time we have?
Yeah, we have only 5.
Okay, so we have only 5 minutes. I don't know. So there are few heuristics, 1, 2, 5, 4. There are many heuristic which we want to talk. So maybe we can take this as a next session.
Yeah.
But before we close today's session, I just give you an indication as to what happens in one of these scheduling heuristics. So this is one of the scheduling heuristic ZSAP001. So it is nothing but the same thing that we have been talking. Okay, so we created a Z heuristic, which is just a copy of SAP001. And in this, what is going to happen? Just the scheduling mode is 0. Finite capacity is time continuous capacity. Validity do not consider. Okay, priority level O. So if we make changes in one of these setup, that can be done by creating a new heuristic, and the behavior will be very similar to what we have talked about. So this is this one is AP001, which is standard made up of that. So it says that this heuristic will deallocate all the operations when it runs. What it does is that it looks at all the operations that are there on that work center. So it is going to work on one work center at a time. So it takes all the scheduled operations and deallocate. Deallocate means it will leave the start and end date. So that is the meaning of deallocating. So it will remove the start and end date of all those operations, but it will keep that how much time that operation needs. Okay, 2 days, 3 days, 5 hours. So that is it keeps. So it will deallocate all the operations, and then based on the sequence, scheduling sequence was there, you remember. So based on that sequence, it will sort them. So if there are 10 operations, it will sort the operations based on the criteria that we have given. Okay, so start date. So then it will based on the start date, it will sort. So yeah, so there are sequence criteria and based on which it will sort them. So now I will have 10 of my operations sorted from 1 to 10 to be scheduled on one of the resource WC1 for which I'm running this heuristic, and then sorted operation start date and start ascending order. So this is the criteria we have maintained. In this SAP 001, that is the criteria which is maintained. Okay, and the planning and forward by default. So then based on this setup, it will one by one schedule all those 10 operations starting from today in the forward direction. So this is what it is going to do based on this SAP 001 heuristic. So basically, in these heuristics, all these strategies setup are very similar. We'll see this insert operation in the earlier one. It was find slot. So what is changing is the scheduling mode, the direction sometimes, but the fields that are being used in these heuristic are the same. So whenever we run this heuristic, it will run on a work center, and then it will look at the existing operations on that work center, and then it will sort them and then reschedule them based on the criteria that we have given, find slot or whatever. Is that fine? So maybe in other next session, we can go in little bit detail of these heuristics. They're all very powerful, perform multiple things at the same time, and then we'll have the case study.
So we will share this PPT to all of you. So you can go through this, and we will if you have any question, we can take it.
Yes, we can take it in the next class.
Jay, I had a couple of quick questions. Actually, typed it in your window, but anyway, I will ask now. So the role of PPDS in MTO scenario and outside manufacturing.
No, what is the question you want to understand?
Understand the role of PPDS in MTO scenario, make to order. And also outside manufacturing. So how exactly it can be mapped, or what are the approaches we need to take?
So okay, let's talk about MTO first. So in case of MTO, what happens is that your planning starts when you get the sales order. Okay, the pure MTO in SAP. So
yes.
So it creates different segments. I don't know, you will probably not be able to understand that segment unless I show you. But what happens within the product view is specific to a product. So what happens in that product view, we get the segments for different customers. So if I get two sales order, one for one customer and for two for other customer. So I can see two segments in my product view, one for each customer. And then under that customer, I see a sales order quantity of 100. So whenever PPDS runs for that sales order in the customer segment 1, it will generate a planned order. Now this planned order, if there is a lot size of 150, will be 150, and then 50 extra will still not be used for the sales order of other customer. Okay, so whenever the planned orders are generated in MTO scenario, these planned orders are very specific to that sales order, and if it is more, it will still be there for that customer only, and other customer sales order will be fulfilled by the other planned orders. So that's how MTO scenario is handled.
It will behave like same, MD0 for, sorry, MRP what does.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if you go to RRP3, we can see the
Three.
segments. If it is subjected to MTO, we
MTO.
can see
Correct,
that, right?
correct.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I
It
will have a look
opens
at
up.
it.
Yeah,
I will have a
if
look
you
at it.
create
Yeah.
MTO, it will create that. Okay.
Okay, okay.
The outside manufacturing, I did not understand. Outside manufacturing. Then
Contract manufacturing, you can say contract
okay, so
manufacturing.
in that case, what will happen? We will have to have that purchase info records of subcontracting type, and
Correct.
then that will come to. So we will have planned orders that can refer to subcontracting PDS. So that's a whole entire different.
That is a different thing.
setup.
Okay, that's what I thought. Actually, ASN
Yes.
based outside manufacturing. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, so that's a different setup altogether. Because of
Okay,
the
okay.
time, we cannot touch upon that.
No.
All
I was
those
just
are
asking.
supported.
That's enough.
Yes.
That should be fine. That should be fine.
Yeah, that's supported, and you can
That's
read through
supported,
it.
right? No, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
I want.
supported.
It's support. Okay, okay.
Jay, I have one question. Like same will follow for the external procurement as well.
External procurement is procurement type F, so you will get purchase requisitions. So in the example that we are seeing, you see the raw material is externally procured, right? So then we get a purchase requisition. If my FG itself was externally procured, then there is no question of planned order, sequencing, all that. It will just give you a purchase order.
Yeah, it will create a procurement proposal for external.
Yeah, right now, like
procurement.
I'm handling one client and that client is doing this. I mean, same material they are doing internal, I mean, in-house as well as external procurement, correct? So
Okay.
in that case, how we can?
In that case, we will have to put a strategy that this will have two sources of supply. So right now, for my FG, we have only one, which is PDS. In that case, we will have two sources. So we will have a purchase info record as well. Okay, and then we will have the priority. So even between this one, there is a priority somewhere. So between procurement.
Different PDS, I guess.
So we'll find out there. So you can, so first of all, you will have two sources of supply for the same material. That one is PDS, another is info record. And then you prioritize whether PDS is higher priority over PIR or otherwise. Okay. Yes. So if PDS is higher priority, then it will first try to create a planned order. Now imagine for that planned order, for within the dates in which I need to have that planned order ready, my capacity is not there or my raw material is not there. So in that case, it will then select the other source of supply. Yes. And it will go there and it will create the purchase requisition.
So we have to have a different PDS, so like, production version. If we have a first production version as a in-house manufacturing, and then second is, for example, a subcontracting, okay, or procurement. So in that case, it will find it will create a requirement based on your priority.
Yeah.
So basically, he's talking about the procurement type X, right? So it can be internal as well as external. So external has a PIR and internal has the routings. So in this case, how does the PPDS system determine the priorities of the orders? I mean, you can do both ways, right? Outside or inside.
Yeah,
And
so
based on
priority.
the requirement date, it will schedule let us say the lead time for the procurement is lesser than the internal in-house production day. So in that case, it will go for external procurement.
Yeah. So it is not open. I mean, in the beginning itself, we will have to tell either PDS is priority one or procurement is priority one. Okay. So between the two, we tell. So which is priority one between PIR and PDS. Now, even though I made the PDS as priority one, still, when I'm creating the planned order to fulfill my requirements, it may be possible that there is no capacity, there is no raw material. So even though my PDS is priority one, because of the constraint, I cannot have that planned order generated in time, and hence system will go for the other priority, which is PIR, and it will propose a purchase requisition. So that way it can decide, but to begin with, we will have to give one over other. Either PDS.
Where do we make that checkbox? I mean, PDS over external procurement.
No. So there is no checkbox within these two individual master data, PDS and PIR. We will have to give the priority number there. So
let me show you.
Okay. So we just want to understand if the system is intelligent enough to understand the lead times and which is the cheaper
So see,
alternative here.
if you go in production version, we do maintain the different production version, correct? So this is my
Okay.
in-house production version where I maintained the routing and all the in-house production version. Okay, so then okay, let me check here.
Jay, like if we maintain like two production version, one for external and one for internal,
Yeah.
and just consider the make to order scenario, and we create a sales order. I mean that sales order timing is, let's suppose, a 1 month. And when we run these scheduling, so if we don't find the capacity, would system will automatically pick that PIR, I mean external procurement. I mean, as per that priority you told.
Priority, correct. Actually, there is some checkbox where we maintain the priority. Let me check.
I hope you got my question correct.
Yeah, I got your question. It should be consider the external procurement based on our priority. First, it should be considered, in-house production. Then, if the capacity is not there or some material constraint, then it should take the second priority where we maintain the external procurement like that.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
To match that customer requirement.
Yeah. We'll check that. Maybe we can. I think it is in PDS. We can check the external and
Yeah. So in the PDS main, let's go to PDS main. Yeah. There is a priority here.
Here you can see the priority.
So you can do F1 here.
So you can see the version. So here we can maintain the priority.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
source of supply. So Vijay, this is your so first is my in-house production. Okay.
No. So why it is saying source of supply? I mean supply and source determination. So it is not saying priority within PDS. It is saying telling source determination. So for a product, I can have sourcing from in-house or I can have from procurement. So even though this field is within a PDS, whatever you maintain is going to determine if I have 3-4 PDS, then which one is higher priority?
Yeah.
And if I have 3-4 PDS and a PIR, then among PIR and PDS also it does the comparison.
Correct.
So it's all this field. If I maintain one here and then I have a PIR where I maintain two, then first this PDS will pick to create the planned order. And if the planned order is not possible because the capacity or material constraints, then it will go to create the purchase requisition.
Yeah. Second, that was the question from Vijay. Okay. So if you don't have enough capacity, and this is 0 on my first PDS. Okay, and I have another second PDS, which is for external. So it should take a second PDS.
Yeah. So accordingly, we will maintain the priority. So for the external PDS, subcontracting PDS, we will maintain two. PIR will maintain three. So one is this one, second is subcontracting, third is
procurement.
External procurement. So
like that.
It will be
So during heuristic run, the system will determine which is the better option and go for it.
Yes.
Or it will I mean, also the capacity constant, of course.
Now, which is better option starting from the priority one. Yeah. So it has a guidance. Start with priority one. But if you don't find is feasible using priority one, then go to priority two, priority three.
Priority two, maybe your subcontracting or the external procurement.
Yeah.
So what are the parameters that are used in prioritizing such such a decision inside
business already knows, right? So subcontractor cost me more compared to when I produce in-house. So that's why in-house is one, subcontracted is two, and then procurement is even more costlier. So procurement is three. So business decides that priority.
Yes.
Okay.
We need to run it. I mean, we will run it. I mean, inside maybe probably we'll have a look at it. It's an interesting question actually to do it.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, so I think
we can conclude today's session.
So all right then.
Yeah, it is
will-
always going beyond time. That means the popularity of your session.
Yeah,
It's good.
we hope that it is
This is
useful
quite
to
informative because
But
I learned a lot.
ultimately, we should have, touch up with the system. Okay, unless and until we touch up with the system and we run the different
Correct.
scenario, what we have, we cannot understand all the things. Okay.
Right, right. But that error still remains. I don't know where to
Yeah,
look for.
that we will check. We found that issue. So it's
Uh-huh.
because
Oh,
of some
okay.
number range issue, Girish. So we
Oh,
check.
I
We
see.
will
Okay,
get it.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
because of some number range. It's the
For
PPDS could
the
not
for
transfer the
PRs,
data
right?
to.
Yes, purchase requisition number range, I believe, right?
Yes, number range issue.
Okay.
we'll find out sometime. We are not getting time to resolve that. We'll find it.
Of course. Yeah, you can have my help. I mean, you can send me a mail to check. I will check.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, thank you for attending the session today. We'll talk next.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Nice one. Thanks. Bye.